There's some songs that are difficult to imagine somebody writing. Songs that express some human experience so pure, so raw, that they feel like they've always been around in some form or another. For me, one such song has always been Ain't No Sunshine. Bill Withers' breakthrough hit is an expression of a universal feeling, and structurally it's got this almost primal simplicity to it, harkening back to the Delta blues tradition. Honestly, growing up hearing this song as a kid, I think a part of me always assumed it was some sort of blues traditional piece. But, of course, it wasn't. Despite its timeless sound, Ain't No Sunshine was, in fact, written by Bill Withers in 1971. And the story of that writing can help us understand what makes Ain't No Sunshine such a timeless song, and what makes Bill Withers such a unique artist. Let's take a closer look.
Polyphonic. I like this little beat right here. Yeah.
Bill Withers' early life looks a lot like that of the blues singers that clearly influenced his music. He was born with a stutter in a small coal mining town and spent most of his childhood raised by a single mother. At 17 years old, he enlisted in the American Navy, where he served for 9 years. It wasn't until Withers was well into his late 20s that he even decided to teach himself guitar. At the time, Withers was working as a mechanic in an aircraft parts factory, where he made $3 an hour making bathroom parts for 747 airplanes. In a
$3 an hour.
piece with the Rolling Stone, Withers said that he was inspired to take up music after seeing a club manager get anxious about Lou Rawls not showing up on time for a gig. Withers said, "I remember him saying, I'm paying this guy $2,000 a week and he can't show up on time. I was making $3 an hour
I want to say here and there.
Women,
what?
But nobody found me interesting. Then Rawls walked in and all these women are talking to him. So Withers took a stroll down to the pawn shop and bought himself a guitar, despite never having played before in his life. He told the Rolling Stone, I figured out that you don't need to be a virtuoso to accompany yourself. Chords in a simple 12-bar blues pattern. And the chords in question are some of the most basic chords to play on the guitar.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. She's always gone.
But you got that voice though, Bill. It don't matter what you was playing.
But as
you
rudimentary as his guitar playing is, Bill Withers is able to convey a depth of pain that few complex pieces could really match. A big reason for this is his raw, from the heart. Withers' voice is not the polished instrument of a career musician. It's the wail of a true working class man, born to poverty and resigned to the realities of the world.
It sounded like he'd been trained in singing his whole life.
Powerful as his voice for all their simplicity. In an interview with Song Facts, Withers explained that he wrote the song after watching the 1962 movie Days of Wine and Roses, a story about a successful couple whose lives spiral out of control due to alcoholism. Withers explained, they were both alcoholics who were alternately weak and strong. It's like going back on seconds for rat poison. Sometimes you miss things that weren't particularly good for you. It's just something that crossed my mind from watching that movie, and probably something else that happened in my life that I'm not aware of. Through simple metaphor, Withers expands the story into a tale of codependency and heartbreak. In the early 70s, Withers penned a number of songs with his simple songwriting approach and saved up enough money to record a demo tape. While still working on the factory floor, he spent his off time shopping his demo to major labels, but he found no takers. His break came when the music executive Clarence Avant realized his potential and gave him a deal to record a record on his indie label.
The Godfather.
The record would be produced by the legendary Booker T. Jones. A working man to the last, Withers came to the studio directly from the factory with a notebook full of songs in hand. He was bewildered to find himself in a room full of some of the most talented people in all of music. In addition to Booker T and most of his MGs, Withers' recording session also featured appearances by Stephen Stills and Graham Nash.
Nice.
In fact, it was Nash who gave Withers the confidence to record, telling him, "You don't know how good you are." And that wasn't the only impact of these career musicians. They're partially responsible for what might be the most iconic moment of Ain't No Sunshine. The repetition of Withers hadn't written words for that section yet, so he just repeated I know. The result is something tense and raw, as though the sheer emotion of heartbreak is overcoming Withers and transcending language. His delivery of this was so strong that everyone in the room told him to keep it just like that.
Don't even take it off of there.
Withers are called to Song Facts. There were all these people with all this experience and all these reputations, and I was this factory worker in here just sort of puttering around. So when their general feeling was leave it like that, I left it like that.
Smart man.
Withers was so much
a
the
man that knew he didn't
cover
know.
photo
So
for what would become his
him
debut
smart.
album was taken at his factory while he was on his lunch break. Fittingly, that album was
real.
entitled Just As I Am. And being who he was, Bill Withers didn't jump ship from his factory job immediately. He knew the music industry was fickle, so after laying down one of the greatest songs ever recorded, he returned to the factory floor. He would continue to work there until he got laid off 2 months before his album was scheduled to be released. After a time being unemployed, Withers' fortune changed when he got 2 letters in the mail on the same day. He told the Rolling Stone, one was asking me to come back to my job. The other was inviting me on to Johnny Carson.
The fork in
and
the
that
road.
about spelled the end of Bill Withers' days as a factory worker.
Yep, y'all
Even
shouldn't
though
have let
Ain't
me
No
go in the first
Sunshine was
place.
actually released as a B-side to the song Harlem, radio DJs saw it for what it was and started to spin it over and over. With the help of Johnny Carson, Ain't No Sunshine climbed up the Billboard Hot 100 and peaked at number 3. Before long, the song went gold, and Withers Record Company commemorated the occasion by presenting him with a golden toilet seat, an homage to his previous job at the Airplane Beats factory. From there, Bill Withers became an icon. His simple, salt-of-the-earth songwriting style made his songs some of the most enduring, influential pieces ever recorded. And Withers himself stayed humble to the very end. He summed up his career best in an interview with Rolling Stone, on the occasion of him getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What few songs I wrote during my brief career, there ain't a genre that somebody didn't record them in. I'm not a virtuoso, but I was able to write songs that people could identify with. I don't think I've done bad for a guy from Slab Fork, West Virginia.
Didn't do too bad at all. Didn't do too bad at all, Mr. Withers. Rest in peace, by the way. That is crazy that it wasn't a cover of a song. It's a song that he wrote that wasn't even fully finished, but just him riffing the I knows. It took the experts that's in the room like, yo, that's fine. Keep it just like that. Taught himself how to play the guitar for what, y'all? What he taught himself to play his guitar for? Because he saw Lou Rawls walk in the building and the women flock to him. What we do, the most motivational, the most inspirational. I say that in my reaction videos all the time. They can make you great or they can break you. And just the fact that he saw Lou Rawls was making $2,000 and the women like that, I'm going to teach myself how to play the guitar and make these hit records so they can be on me. Fire.